Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Evil Twin Anthony, for our news brief. Yep. Thank you so much. Of course, welcome to the Paul Breakfast Show. Welcome to all those on YouTube and on Facebook. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. 6th day of October. It is. The year is just moving fast. 6 days in October gone already. 80 days to Christmas. 80 days to Christmas. It is zooming. I can smell the black cake and the punch of creme. I can smell all of that. Yes, I can. Let's take a look at the WTs. Let's get straight into it. Weather and traffic. If you're leaving San Fernando, heading through Taruba, you got some volume there. But after that, smooth sailing. On the Solo northbound till you get to Chase Village, you got that traffic there. Chaguanas Main Road is beginning to build. Charlieville, you got some traffic there, heading straight towards the interchange from Maloney to Piyako, Trin City to Huey, and just by Valsain, you got some traffic as you head westbound. There is a minor accident westbound Churchill Roosevelt Highway. It is in the vicinity of Aranguez, all right? Whoa. Yeah, well, Aranguez, Elscore, around that area, more Elscore than anything else, all right? That's where you got your volume. But after you pass that accident, yep, it's clear in the Port of Spain. Building up in the west, Maraval and Mocha and those coming to Santa Cruz, nothing out of Diego Martin, all right? Nothing out of Grande and Valencia as yet, all right? That's your traffic. Let's get into our weather, see what's happening. Weather-wise at this time, it is 26 degrees at Piyako International Airport, 27 at Crown Point. And let's see if the Met Office has updated their weather forecast. Nope, yesterday at 4:11 was the last one, but they said yesterday, sunny conditions intercepted with partly cloudy periods accompanied by some isolated daytime showers. There's a little to medium chance of some heavy afternoon showers and isolated thunderstorm near southern and hilly areas. All right. Of course, adverse weather alert number 2 is in until 5 p.m. this afternoon. All right. So as soon as I get an updated weather, I'll let you know what's happening. 10 after 6, and they have not updated it yet. All right, so that's your WTs. All right, let's see if any of the guys are on this morning. I haven't checked the stream. We do have, that is a black day. We do have Wendell Stephen online. Morning to you there, Mr. Stephen.
Morning, Mr. Khan. And morning, Mr. Raghubar Singh. Morning, Mr. Richards. And good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and listeners.
Ruben, Ruben is a sensitive fella.
Mr. Mohammed.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Let's take a look and see who sent us hellos already for the morning. I know I got a lot of people coming in, so let's look at people. Oliver Manwarren, good morning. DJ Ray out in Delaware, good morning. Oliver Manwarren is saying, sending birthday greetings to all who celebrate this weekend, and myself as well on Sunday. Oh, Sunday is your birthday, the 8th way. Pauline Buckmeyer, good mornings from, I'm in Tamarack, Florida. Okay, Tamarack, Florida. I don't know why Pomerac coming to my mind, but good morning to you, Pauline. Doreen Pierre, D. Pierre, good morning. Rennie Mohammed out in Point Lisas, good morning to you. Wendy and James out in San Juan. Ms. Maloney Dudu Wagwan. God Salient, Valencia, how are you? Miss Ingrid, Tucson, Arizona. Morning. Trinidad, Boston. Good morning to you as well. Rena Budu Jennings, Ray, out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Good morning. Carol Guevara. Ambrose Blah, out in New York, viewing and listening. So good morning to you, Ambrose. Wayne B. in Covington, Georgia. Brenda Isaac in Santa Cruz. I like that. Eh? We went from Florida to Arizona to Santa Cruz. Good morning to you. Steve, is there a shortage of cat food? Brenda, I do not think so. We have cat food at the Pet Butler. Come on down to Elsgore Road. Give us a call. But which cat food do you use? That's the next question. There are a few brands, so I don't know which one you use. Anthony Tinto, good morning to you. And Anna, good morning to you as well. All right. That's some folks that sent us. Hellos there, Wendell. A lot of people locked on already.
Yeah. A lot of these places that I've visited. I've never been to
Mhm.
Tucson, Arizona.
I have a buddy of mine was there up to this week.
Mhm.
Yeah, he went to visit his son. His son works at the Boeing factory.
Mhm.
So he and his wife actually work at the Boeing factory.
Mm.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a trainee that went up there and he's in charge of I think his logistics for one of those fighter helicopters.
Mhm.
A lot of trainees doing a lot of great work
All
abroad.
right. I actually stayed at the Holiday Inn in Tamarack, Fort Lauderdale.
I didn't even know where Tamarack is.
It's Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay. Right. I
And
know Fort
also,
Lauderdale.
yeah, I've never been to Delaware. So
Never been
that's
there.
where we were our last years. I have a friend living in Delaware now, actually.
Mm.
He moved from where he moved from? He moved from Alabama, I think. And also, well, I've been to Covington, Georgia. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. Beautiful place.
Never been there either.
Yeah. Huge properties out there. Oh.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, never been
So,
there.
and of course, I've been to Valencia and I've been to Diego Martin and I've been to where else I saw
Santa
some
Cruz?
and Enterprise by Carl, Shaguanas by Carl.
No, you went by Carol?
Well, I didn't go by car, but I mean I've been to Shaguanas.
Oh, okay.
I think
And I
Carl
say,
and
hey, I didn't
Margaret
get invited. Walk on
and
there.
I pass through Maloney all the time.
Yeah, we know you in that. Hey, this morning, so I'm coming into Port of Spain. I crossed the lights by South Key and decided to turn right onto Shacon Street from South Key. And you know that road is absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's paved.
They paved it. Oh, beautiful.
They paved it. I was in shock.
That road was terrible. As short as it was terrible.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
I never used to, I stopped passing there.
Ah.
It's only because I did the math, because I was going to turn right on the Independence Square, and I said, you know what? There's two buses, a couple of cars. I will get the red again, and let me just stay on this, and I'll turn up shotgun. And I said, whoa, it's paved.
Okay, well,
it's after the elections, and it's paved. I was in shock.
Let's hope we see a lot more roads being paved in the city. And, well, all over the country, because Tampuna Road in Arima is one of the worst roads in Arima.
Yeah, you all keep saying that.
Yeah.
There's two places I don't know well. One, Arima. Two, Diego Martin.
Right.
Pretty Valley, all that side. I don't know it well at all.
Yeah.
I do not. Anyway, we do have some birthdays. Let me pull up some of my birthdays here.
Yeah, I have some also.
Yeah, Wazir Khan Ido's birthday today. My good friend out in Toronto, Michelle Khan. No relations. It's her birthday today. On the weekend, today's the 6th. Tomorrow is the sister of my very, very good friend, Nalini Lala. Douglas K. Gordon is on tomorrow as well. Dayton Barnes. His birthday is tomorrow as well. He works right here. He'll be, oh God, he's only 40 years old. God, he looks a lot older. Tim Stew. His birthday is on Sunday. Of course, he was the former ambassador for the UK here in TNT. My cousin, Janine Khan. Her birthday is on Sunday. And of course, we go down to Shelly Das. Well, I got a WhatsApp message from Shelly Das yesterday. I said, oh, Lord. Of course, we head down. So that's my birthday.
Today, I have Brenda Perez, Eva Cadogan, Jervel Limo, Patrice Prokop Shaw. Hi, morning, Patrice, and happy birthday.
Prokop.
Uh,
Last time I heard of Prokop, there was a Dr. Prokop,
yeah,
long time ago in
yeah,
Bethlehem,
yeah,
in Curep. I
yeah.
wonder if they're related.
Maybe. I'm not sure
Mm,
who Patrice that is, but she is Patrice Prokop Shaw,
mhm,
Dwayne McAllister, Arlene Ram. I also have Wazir Khan Idu.
mhm,
And Steve D'Souza lives out there in St. James, Carlton Avenue in St. James. Happy birthday, Steve. Keston
mm.
Williams also. And of course, over the weekend, I also have, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Hold on. Up Alison Laurel. She's tomorrow. That's a good friend of mine. She lives out there in the United States. Tony Maslin, a regular blogger on Facebook. Reynald Olivier. Roderick Chasso, my compare. Roderick's birthday is tomorrow. I have to remember that. And Sunday, Glenn Rogers from Campari. Daryl Mendoza, everybody know him as the cleaner. You know, that guy who does those stand-up comedy things.
Mm.
He is on Sunday. Shaka Joseph is on Sunday. Arlene Ramdwa is on Sunday. Adele Wiltshire is on Sunday. No, not Adele Wiltshire. She is the 10th. The husband, Robert Wiltshire, is on Sunday. All right. Nelline Ramdwa. Hear me, Nelline Ramdwa now. Nelline Sangster is on Sunday also. All right. Lots of birthdays coming up. And of course, next week, Monday, is Bernadette Brown. She will not make us forget it. She is next week's Monday. And Tuesday, when I'm off, is Sankofa. So you have to remember Sankofa's birthday on Tuesday.
Mm.
Right? He is on Tuesday. Right? And of course, the big one is coming up on Wednesday. Wednesday, October 11th. Everybody knows it. He will not make you forget it either. He will ask for cake and ice cream.
Yeah.
He will ask for a 52-inch flat screen TV.
Yeah.
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 He will ask for support.
I'll ask for a recliner.
Yeah.
I will ask him. On a Furniture Plus will give me a recliner for my birthday.
Yeah.
Furniture Plus, hint, I'm looking for a recliner for my birthday. As a gift. Hint. Amjad. Hint.
Next week, God willing. Today is Isabella Wallace's 16th birthday. That's the granddaughter of Rena Boodoo Jennings. Happy birthday, Isabella Wallace, granddaughter of Rena Boodoo Jennings. Good morning, Rena. And of course, did Oliver Manwaring say his birthday is coming up soon?
Oliver Manwaring birthday is on the 8th, Sunday.
Oh, that's Sunday too. Oh, okay. Well, good. Thankfully, I won't be on air on the day of my birthday. I always like being off air on the day of my birthday. My birthday falls on a Sunday also. So. All right.
October, after Christmas, is the best month.
Yeah,
it's the best month.
Lots of birthdays coming up this week.
Yeah.
These next few days here. All right. And we have some big ones coming up down at the end of the month, like Richard Raghubar Singh,
Prime Minister,
Dr. Keith Rowley.
It would have also, on that same day, would be our beloved friend, may he rest in peace, Chris Sion. Every year we visit his site. So we'll do that again this year.
Somebody messaged me the other day too and tell me that their birthday is also the 24th of October. And I was surprised because it's somebody who regularly listens to us. And she had revealed that her birthday is also the 24th of October.
Well, I don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody
What happened yesterday?
I'm so out of it. I have no idea. It's only when I read the news here, I get it. But I really have no idea. I think the talk of the town really is the fluctuation in voltage from T and Tech, which my good friend who works at T and Tech is saying that it may have come. It starts out in Point Lisas, and it's So I don't know. I tried to get a high official at T and Tech yesterday, but it was too late. It was after 6, so. I'll pursue it again this morning. I don't like to call people when they're off. I have
Well,
respect for the office.
we've been getting it regularly in St. James.
Mm-hmm.
Fluctuations regularly in St. James. So much I called in an electrician, I reported it to TNTech. It's been happening regularly in St. James. It's been
Mm-hmm.
happening off and on here in Arima, but not as regular as it happens in St. James. St. James is
Mm-hmm.
whole day going. Whole day. We have those fluctuations. You understand? But is that what I know that I saw something concerning that fire in Enterprise. Is it Enterprise? No, Endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we don't have the facts of the matter, so I don't want to raise it. Joyce Louise Dale saying, how are you going, Miss Dale saying? I haven't heard from you a long time. Good to know that you're still listening. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened yesterday? Three people were arrested. I think two of them licensing, one of them a licensing officer,
Yeah,
and
but,
one of
yeah,
them
but I don't know what they did.
apart, they didn't say what they did. What they did. They didn't say what happened.
Is it falsifying documents? Because I see
Yeah,
IT guy was involved.
yeah. I didn't see them say what they did. You know, but there was an
But
arrest yesterday.
I think we all know
Mm-hmm.
that there are some licensing officers that need to be investigated. We have heard
Mm-hmm.
these stories. The entire country have heard
Mm-hmm.
stories. And they're the same people that will pull you, stop you and say, hey, you're too dark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to me personally, um, you know, we have to respect them, but after you hear all these different stories from all the licensing officers throughout the country, you know, can you know, put $300 in the glove compartment? We've all heard that.
Mm.
I don't know.
The other story that interested me was the issue of the HDC worker. They said an employee of the Housing Development Corporation has been arrested by police over allegations of fraud. In a statement on
I
Thursday,
think
yeah, this is the plumber that TV6 spelled Plummer, right?
MMER. When I saw that, TV6, it is not the first time you've made spelling errors.
And they did it on 3 occasions that night.
Nobody picked up on it, but the minute I saw it, I said, somebody can't spell. Or either that or they're talking to Denise. And I saw that, and it stayed up, and not
It stayed
one
up for
soul
a
picked it up.
while.
Not
Yes, it
one
stayed up.
soul picked it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
start to laugh. I said they're looking for Denise. That clearly, yeah, they're looking for
Yeah.
Denise.
Yeah.
Good
So
morning,
in a
Denise.
statement on
Looking on us.
Thursday, the AGC said a plumber, Plumber, under their employment was arrested in relation to alleged fraudulent activities involving the falsifying of invoices for payment to Golden Valley Care Services. The alleged payments, the AGC said, represented services ostensibly provided to senior citizens during the period 2016 to 2019 on behalf of the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. The plumber also allegedly, morning, Richard, I saw him there somewhere. Where did
Hey,
Yeah,
today's
morning, guys. Morning.
we all in uniform today, boy.
I know the Friday memo is black. The plumber also allegedly received a payment for similar services in 2017. According to HDC, members of the fraud squad visited its premises on October 4th, seeking assistance in identifying the suspect. The agency said it is fully committed to supporting law enforcement agencies. Well, they didn't go into any details here, but what I heard is that they were falsifying invoices to the tune of, I think, over $1 million. Apparently,
Close to, yeah.
purporting to give services to this particular home, and the plumber himself allegedly received a payment back from the home of $600 and something thousand. That's what I was hearing on the news on yesterday. This particular article doesn't go into all those details, but that is what we were hearing. You know, people will never stop trying something. They will never stop as long as money involved. You know? So, did you all disappear?
No, I'm
I'm
right
right
here.
here.
Oh, all right, yeah. Yeah, so that was one of the main stories, of course, and the story with the licensing officers that came out last night,
Mm-hmm.
and those were the two main crime stories. You know, I didn't hear of any shootings, I didn't hear of any murders. Thank God for that. And they apparently leave the train alone yesterday.
Well, if you look at one of the daily's headlines today, and I'm talking about the Newsday, we're not getting into headlines just yet, but the headline they went with this morning was murder rate worsens 60, 60 killed in September.
Wow,
Isn't that
Wow.
that's two a day.
incredulous?
That's two people a day.
It's not incredulous.
It
It
is.
is.
60 citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, well, I shouldn't say citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, 60 people have died in this space in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Six
Yeah.
zero. Detection rate stagnant. 18 more murders. 18 more murders than September 2022.
Wow.
Lack of evidence hampers investigations. All of these are.
Mm-hmm. I feel sorry for the TTPS, yes?
You have a
Because
love-hate relationship with them
no,
because on
because
one
no,
point you
because
said 90% of them need to go.
no. Well, I'm sure about that. I'm not changing. I'm unchanging on that. But you feel sorry for them because you know it have ones out there who trying. You understand?
Yeah.
You know it have ones who mean well,
Yeah.
and they just can't catch a break. They just can't catch a break. People are just mowing down people at will for all manner of reasons now, and they just can't catch a break. It will all point towards the statistics of the TTPS at the end of the day. You understand? It just the country is too angry. People are too quick because all right. Let's just look at the latest stories. Let's just look at the killing in Gonapo. That could have been 7. That could have been 10 people, right? Eh? It could have been 10
9.
people, right?
Was
It
it
could have been
9?
9 people, right? Easily, right? It ended up as 4. Let's just look at that. What's the reason that a gunman or gunmen ran into a room and shot at 10 children, 10 people, all under the age of 25, right? What's the reason? What's the reason? We've heard people proffer reasons of 2 of them might have beat up some man and his son or whatever, nothing about a killing it, but 2 of them beat up somebody or whatever, right? And that person gets so angry that they send gunmen or they went themselves or whatever and shut up a room, a little board house with 10 people sleeping in it. You ain't even wake them up and say, hey, you see, you do so and so, you are looking for. You didn't care. You run in a house and just shoot at will. And that person, possibly somewhere around today, without answering. We don't know. They said that 3 people they said that they detained 3 people.
3
Have they
people.
been arrested and charged? Yeah.
But
But that's probably
I don't
about
know
them.
I don't know if they've been charged yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I know they were detained. I'm
Right.
not sure if they
So
were charged. Maybe they were. I'm not sure.
But
Let me
again,
check.
the TTPS has not come forward with any sort of information on that. And a matter like that, to me, that was national horror. Okay? You have not come forward and say, listen, we have gathered this evidence, we have detained these 3 people, we are seeking advice from the DPP, we have got them with the gun that was used, we have something. or we've gotten a confession from somebody, something. You have not come forward and said anything. So we don't know what's happening with that, right? We look at the rape of the girl, the 13-year-old girl, who went to report a rape with her father. 2 o'clock the next morning, she is dead. She is murdered. She and her uncle who can't do nobody nothing, Richard, because he's sitting in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's a paraplegic.
Yeah, he's a paraplegic. He ain't no threat to nobody. Okay? Unless he have I don't know. And then her father, who is now fighting for his life in a hospital. And nothing.
Horrible.
Silent.
Tragic.
No, man.
And when to report people, when to identify alleged suspects who sexually assaulted you as a 13-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
An incredibly tragic story. Yeah. Incredibly tragic.
Yes, Richard. So,
and in another country, that in itself would have been astonishingly so tragic that commissioners of police would be out there, politicians would be out there saying, my God, this is ridiculous. And in Trinidad, it's accepted as, I don't think accepted in the sense of, we are so desensitized that a 13-year-old girl is murdered hours after identifying alleged suspects who sexually assaulted her. Is murdered 2 a.m. in the morning in her bed.
Yeah.
And that is not reason for the police to be articulating X, Y, or Z, or I don't know which area I can't remember which area she's from. Rio Claro, wasn't it?
I think it's Rio Claro.
Rio Claro, somewhere there. That I don't know that deaths and murders don't require of that nature. Don't require any further things. Becoming another statistic. That's how it's now treated. It's another statistic, and it's horrific.
Yeah,
it's a horrific statistic beyond. The 4 siblings being shot in a repo, Guanapo, is one level of horror when 9 people are shot. And I know the Prime Minister would have referenced it. But this is something that would have happened within, for all intents and purposes, the precincts of Arima.
Yeah.
And there is no calling together the borough meet on that. I have heard no statement from the current borough council concerning crime and what you're going to deal with it. That should be a first order of business as you're sworn in. You should call a press conference. Oh, okay, give you a week.
Yeah.
You should have called in the national police and the borough police and say, how are we now going to treat with all of this?
Yeah.
There is no level of, is it that they're also desensitized to that they feel powerless to say anything and they don't feel that they have to? That's the only assumption I could come to it.
Yeah. And you know what, Richard? You know what is even worrying about the Andrea Lallan, the 13-year-old girl? You know what's even, the people who were pointed out as the alleged rapists, they were in custody. They could not have done so. You had to discount them from the murder. You know? You had to discount them directly. At least they my police ain't bringing work in here. If they were pointed out that night and were detained, or were they released? We don't know. I think they were detained. As far as I hear, they have 2 people in custody for the alleged rape. So who are the murderers? Who are the murderers? Who are the people who, for all intent and purposes, didn't like the fact that Andrea and her father dare go and report a rape and had her murdered? Andrea Lallan was allegedly raped, Richard, right? Was and a question, going with a question CPT saying that, was a DNA kit done that same night to determine that she was in fact raped? Because she was murdered a few hours later, you know? Yeah. Was she taken to the hospital?
Well, there was some sort of sexual assault, and the mayor, at the point that you would have indicated a sexual assault, there's a certain workflow that I believe would happen that will involve medical examination before you get to the point of an ID parade. Now you remember, for all intents and purposes, her name would never have been revealed if she was alive.
True, because she's
a minor.
Yes.
She's a minor. The only reason we know this is because she's been murdered.
Yes. You're right. So, and these are stories, these are real situations that we in Trinidad and Tobago facing today without answers. And it is not right. It is not right. I mean, all the other incidents, we could probably say, okay, they related to some sort of something. But these two incidents, you don't see it prudent to come to the public and speak about? No, that could never be satisfactory. That could never be.
What does that say to people who become victims of crime and have to ensure their rights and justice is done? What does that say to those people?
Yeah.
If, God forbid, your daughter has been assaulted and you've seen that story, doesn't the TDPS or the state not understand the seriousness of what that is?
Yeah.
And the urgency in holding those perpetrators and holding press conferences? It boggles my mind. It's unexplainable to me.
Yeah.
That we could become so desensitized that I want to believe the society is not saying, "Oh, come," and moving on with life. The society should be frustrated, must be frustrated and angry.
It just can't be acceptable. I can't even begin to imagine the head of the TTPS, the commissioner, and anybody sitting in her close vicinity, anybody around her, saying, leave this alone, yes? Don't say nothing. I can't even begin to imagine that, Richard.
5 murders involving children being murdered by firearms. 5.
Yes.
In the month of, was it in the month of September? Well, this one might be in October. But certainly the other 4 were in September, and there's not.
What Guy Small is saying here, they're hitmen in TNT. And I think
we know that. We know that.
But I also asked, when we had the Minister of National Security on a couple of times, I did ask him if individuals are coming in from other countries, Caribbean countries, coming in for a day or a weekend, do they hits and fly back out?
Maybe
I wouldn't doubt that happens.
I would hardly think. I think our problems are right here within our own population. Our problems are right here.
I don't know.
Our problems are
right here. Right here.
Yeah.
And how do the parents of these individuals, if they're alive still, that know about it and feel about it? They've raised a child from womb to birth to school, holding hands, taking to school, and this is how you turn out? Yeah, show me your friends, I can tell you who you are.
It's just a level of hate. And people are getting angry for the slightest reason. They're getting angry for the slightest reason.
Yeah.
I
mean, police work needs to be, look this week. An individual, 31 years old, went to a wedding in New York and was sitting by a bus stop at almost 4 o'clock in the morning. An unprovoked individual with anger issues killed him. But to match that, they actually caught the perpetrator yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, a man pulled up next to a police cruiser and fired a shot inside the cruiser on a Friday. And on a Monday, he was arrested. The trooper died.
And that to
Policeman
me
got
is
killed here. My good friend Charles, a police officer, got killed here 3 Saturdays ago. We haven't heard anything.
yeah, that our problem is far worse than the hate and the anger.
Yeah,
Our
we are cool
problem,
case country.
yeah, we tend to just move on now because, well, it just appears that the law enforcement they have moved on, and they're just waiting to deal with the next issue. I mean, we always compliment them. I mean, for instance, the issue of these crimes that the fraud squad I think would have worked on for the last 6 to 8 years, I mean, that's complimentary that it has resulted in arrest. But we have a problem with murders. We have a problem with gun crimes. You understand? We have a problem with the easy access to guns and ammunition that just seems insurmountable. That's how it seems. Insurmountable.
And after so long, we don't know where it's coming from. How it's getting into the shores of TNT, nobody knows.
It just seems we're hoping and waiting for people to change.
But the people in the areas know exactly where they're coming in from. But is there any investigation into that? I know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Gentlemen, let's get in the headlines of our 3 dailies, shall we? And I shall say hello to a few people that came up this morning. Ambrose Block, good morning. Showen Kerr, Rena Boodoo Jennings, today is my granddaughter's Isabella Wallace 16th birthday. So happy birthday to you, Isabella, my good friend, aka like a sister to me, George's sister. Her daughter is Isabella. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Good morning, Mo Gaines out in Aruka. CPT Singh. Joycelyn Louise Dial Singh, good morning. My birthday is on Wednesday, Joycelyn. Marcia Rock, always locked on. Yes, Rena Boodoo Jennings is thinking of our good friend Chris. Miss Ingrid. I just heard that a security guard was murdered at the what?
Yes, I got that message. I got that news early this morning too.
Really?
Guard was murdered at Massey in Brentwood. I got that news early this morning also.
Brentwood,
right there in Chagonas.
Guy Small, good morning. Gloria Gray. Leonard Naipaul, locked on. Beauty Culture. Wayne B. Good morning to you all. All right, let's get headlines, shall we? I'm going to follow up on that story.
Yeah. Well, I have papers. You have papers, Wendell?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Go ahead there, Richie Rich.
Once you see that thing behind my back, I'm home.
Okay.
And I ain't going to you.
Daily Express for today. Headline: Judge praises murder convict. A model inmate who obeyed the rules. Prisoner turned Calypsonian released from jail after time served. And we're talking about Rommel Lazama. So he has been released. And that's the main headline that the Daily Express went with, which was sort of positive news. It's positive news that they decided to say judge praises murder convict, a model inmate who obeyed the rules. Pain for Harley's granddad. Of course, that is the tragic story of the baby who died in the fire. And of course, there were continuing, I don't know if to call it speculation or founded in fact with regard to the issue of the voltage and stuff that started to circulate yesterday. But we'll see, it will come out. On the back page of the Daily Express today, heroic Haley can't save West Indies. Windies skipper starts again, but women lose T20I series. And Army look to come again after club championship exit. So that's the front and the back of the Daily Express this morning. And of course, if you were to leaf into the Daily Express, right on page 9, you will see a wonderful ad for plays happening this weekend, including Nikki, Crosby 50-ish, Hot AF at Cipriani College, and Bacchanal Bubble, and Bad Behavior at Naparima Bowl. God knows you need to laugh. Trinidad and Tobago news day for today. Front page, murder rate worsened, 60 killed in September. Detection rate stagnant, 18 more murders than September 2022. Lack of evidence hampers investigations. All this I would have read already. We are doing our best, so says Homicide Bureau of Investigation Senior Superintendent Rishi Singh as he speaks at the TTPS weekly press briefing at the Police Administration building in Port of Spain on Thursday. Licensing employees arrested for fraud. And they up in the corner, there is also an ad on the front page for Bubble, Bacchanal, and Bad Behavior, and Nikki, 50-ish, and Hot AF. On the back page, Tobago cycling champ dominates in Trinidad. Mexican rider scorches the avenue. And Matthews on fire, but West Indies lose T20 series. So that's the front and back. What is this picture? Is it of children? Athletes run to their bicycles in the boys under 8. The cycling on the avenue. Okay. So it's under 8. There was an under 8 race. And that's a news day. And the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today, the front page. Extortion caught on tape. Contractor records alleged gang leader's threats. Told he must pay $30,000 for protection. Cops now providing security at job site. Why didn't they just arresting the contractor? Arresting the gang leader. But anyway, that's just the story. That's the front page. Teens hurt in crash. That's a sub-story on the front page. And there's a picture of that accident. A $12 million budget for Tobago Carnival. And on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, Haiti 79, not enough, as West Indies beaten in T20 series. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much, Richie Rich. Let's get into the results of our morning poll. Shall we just pull it up here? See what's going on. Right. Let's pull up the results. See it move on me. And we go. Do you think that the increase in the number of police recruits is going to make a difference in the fight against crime? That was our poll yesterday. I'll give you the results right after I tell you that you can party with Pavi and Burn Team Global on Vision 1 at Charity Cooler Cruise, October 14th, boarding at Lady Hales Avenue at 4 p.m. and sailing at 5 p.m. Party to the sounds of DJ Lovey, Dub Vendor, and Juicy. Tickets are $250. In groups of 10, you pay $2,000 for tickets. Call Shamika 346-8730 or Candace at 271-9655. All right, it's all happening October 14th. Do you think that the increase in the number of police recruits is going to make a difference in the fight against crime? 79%, 79, said no. It won't. All right. Let's get into this morning's poll.
Well, we put in these recruits under the same current leadership that we have in the TTPS. And I don't mean leader, I mean leadership. So people don't see me as coming out against the commissioner. We mean leadership. We put in 100 more recruits. From 300 to 1,000. We put in 700 more recruits under the same leadership of the TTPS. How is that going to help? I don't know. But Richard will come up with a poll very soon to deal with our situation today. We normally like to go light on a Friday. We went a little heavy this morning. And I'm telling you all from now, I'm not looking forward to interviewing our next guest
I
because
thought
of
you
our
do.
history, because of our history, and because of what someone put out on social media last time concerning our program and what I did. I have a real problem with interviewing that guest. Real
Our
problem.
guest next hour will be Karen Nunez-Tesheira.
Yeah.
All right.
Her minions attacked me on social media last time.
Minions.
I didn't appreciate it.
All right.
Her
Our poll,
minion-
gentlemen.
only one minion she has.
Yeah, our poll. We're running out of time.
Right. So in 2023, between Morva and Arima, that corridor, 221 murders have taken place thus far for 2023. In that corridor between Morva to Arima, 221 murders have taken place. I know there are a lot of things in the budget in terms of upping the resources for national security. So do you think that there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? Do you think
Yes or
that
no?
do you think that there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? Of course, they have done certain things. They have a maritime unit. They have a maritime command center. They have a maritime unit for riverines. A new command center. They have given resources for more for in terms of cyber and the app. I don't know if it's the app that they're talking about. They have upped recruiting to 1,000 instead of 300. They've tripled it.
So our poll, gentlemen. Do you think there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? Yes or no? 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. On Facebook and YouTube. We'll get it here. All right. Got a caller ready. Good morning, caller.
Morning, gentlemen. San Grandino.
All right. Thank you,
You're
Grandy.
taking the votes, right, Wendell?
Yeah, I'll take them.
Okay.
All right. Do you think there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? Mogin says, hell no. CPT Singh says no. Leonard Naipaul says no. What says you, caller?
Morning, my love. Morning. I want to be positive, and yes, let us try something. So yes, I am going positive.
All right. Thank you. Gregory Bauer says absolutely no. Miss Ingrid, Tucson, Arizona, no to the poll. Marval on the road says not a chance in hell. All right. Good morning, caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. My answer is no.
All righty. Thank you. Ambrose Blas says yes. Wayne B says no. All right. Do you think there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? Yes or no? Romantic, passionate lover. No. Carol Guevara. Yes.
So our poll this morning, do you think there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? Of course, the Minister of Finance would have given some indications of resources being allocated to the Ministry of National Security to assist in that, including that new vetted unit I think the Prime Minister talked about.
Is that part of it? Because if that's not
so.
part of it.
I think so, I saw that in some article over the week. I would have seen that somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure. But do you think there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, toll free at 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app, you'll have to send your votes via our messaging platform on our YouTube stream, where you can put your vote in the comment section, and we are reading it.
Morning, Lorna. Morning, Indy. Morning, Carly. No. Mathura says yes. Slick Money Grip says no. What says you, caller?
Good morning, Diego Martin here. Yes to the poll.
All righty. Thank you, Diego. Have a good one. Chris Toussaint says no to the poll. Alistair Hart says fingers crossed, yes.
Where did Chris Toussaint vote?
He sent me a message.
Oh, okay.
You're on top of things. You did a quick audit there, Wendell.
Oh, yeah, I want to know where the vote come from.
Kenny in Harlem says no to the poll. Julia Espostis says no. Lorna says in London on our way to Barcelona.
Oh, I'm jealous, Lorna. I'm jealous.
What
jealous, Lorna.
Yes. You didn't need anybody to carry your
Barcelona.
suitcases? Oh my goodness. I wonder what India is going to do in the canal. She's there with Carly, and Lorna is there with Carly for sure. Guy Small says no to the poll for the 26th time. Oh, okay. Thank you, romantic, passionate lover. As we have less than a minute again to vote. Call us right now. Send us a message right now.
TalK 222-8255. North Americans 866-525-1099. Send your votes via the comment section if you're doing it via message on our YouTube stream. And I see a couple of votes maybe coming in there, Steve. You can check. Do you think there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year?
Carly went to Jeffrey and Taco.
That's our poll this morning.
Yeah.
221 murders in the corridor between Morva to Arima. 221.
All right. Continue to vote on our mobile app and website. I'll give you the final results come Monday morning. Right now, let's get into our major. God, Evie, could you stop doing that? Jeez,
You ain't in that scandal.
You didn't want to know what she's doing. If I swing the camera, I should have swung it around.
Swing it. Let me see every day.
Hi.
Hello, baby.
I wasn't doing anything.
Where is she, Steve? Where is she?
How are you?
You're good, Evie. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I have
Just
no idea
walk.
what Steve is speaking about.
Just walk behind Steve then or something. But there she is. Hi, Abby.
Hi.
What is that
It is
red
so awesome
sash you
to
have
see
on there?
you. Well, I can't see you. I see you in the newsroom because I usually put on YouTube so I can see you guys.
Okay, lovely.
Let me just fix the camera here.
You're a fan.
I am.
Good to see you, though. Long time.
Good to hear you.
Bye-bye.
I can't see it.
Take care.
So we're gonna do news now, Steve.
I was trying to fix the camera so people could see you. As I have you turn that way, I'll do that. I'm trying to. There you go. But your top is like a fishing net. Anyway, let's get
But
into
it's cute.
Oh boy.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
These are your news headlines to 7 o'clock. The TTPS says the murder rate has surpassed the figure for the same period last year, and gang killings account for 184 of the 454 murders so far this year. The Coast Guard says the police service continues to probe into the death of a sailor on Thursday. TNTAC refutes claims of systemic voltage problems, and Energy Chamber welcomes news on shallow water bid round. Details in a moment. This is News 2, 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sinjal Bab. Good morning. Police statistics show the murder rate has surpassed the figure for the same period last year. Superintendent Lyndon Douglas, speaking at the police press briefing at the Police Administration Building in Port of Spain on Thursday, said there were 454 reported murders for the first 9 months of 2023. On Monday, during the presentation of the budget, the finance minister pledged more resources to fight crime, including hiring more officers and purchasing more equipment. Crime statistics on the TTPS website show there is an increase from the 436 murders reported for the same period in 2022. 5 weeks ago, Police Commissioner Erla Harewood Christopher at the TTPS Independence Day toast boasted of a 0% increase in murders compared to 2022. She said a 10% decrease in murders over the previous months brought the murder toll down to match the corresponding period last year. While there was a dip in the number of murders in July and August in comparison to 2022, every other month saw increased year-on-year numbers except April, which was equal. Douglas said the figures for 2023 include the murder of 44 women, 18 children, and 14 foreigners. Meanwhile, the police service says gang-related killings accounted for 184 of the 454 murders so far this year. Of this amount, 16 have been solved. The detection rate in this area is 9%. 18 children have been killed for 2023, 6 of which have been detected. Female murders stand at 44, with 10 detected, and the murder of foreign nationals amounted to 14, 2 of which have been solved. It was indicated out of the 454 murders so far this year, 79 have been solved, 86 persons have been charged. Superintendent Douglas also gave a breakdown of the homicides.
There is by altercation, which amongst the 28, 11 of those altercations were solved, which gave a 39% detection rate. Gang, which is the highest, which amongst 184, 16 of which were solved, giving rise to a 9% detection rate. Drug-related, which is 50, 3 of which were solved, giving a detection rate of 6%. Revenge, 40, 9 of which was solved, a detection rate of 23%. Robbery, 36, 8 was solved, a detection rate of 22%. Domestic, 16, 8 solved, detection rate of 50%. Unknown, 99, 2 of which was solved, a detection rate of 2%. Lastly, other, 1, 0 detection.
Superintendent Douglas and citizens must be able to go about their business on a daily basis undisturbed, and the police service will do what is required to ensure law and order.
We are quite aware of the responsibilities owed to the citizen of being able to traverse our twin island undisturbed, and we enforce our commitment to achieve that objective. We will continue to robustly use our crime-fighting initiatives to bring closure to these matters. And again, appeal to citizens to continue to provide information to bring more successes.
The Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard says the police service is continuing investigations into the death of a sailor on Thursday. The TTCG says there was an unfortunate incident involving a service member of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard at the junior rates male dormitory at the heliport base Chagaramas. No one else was involved or injured in the incident. The sailor was transported to the St. James Medical Complex, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. There is no generalized issue of low voltage problems on the electricity grid. The Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission says TNTAC acknowledges voltage fluctuations occur from time to time. However, incoming reports are treated as an emergency and resolved within the requisite time stipulated by the Regulated Industries Commission. It says voltage fluctuations may have various triggers. From the customer side of the connection, this is typically caused by sudden increases in their load above what the building has been designed for, such as the installation of air-conditioned units or other high-load equipment and appliances. Customers are being encouraged to utilize the services of a licensed electrician before making such changes. Customers who experience voltage fluctuations are being encouraged to make a formal report to TNTEC so immediate investigations can be done. TNTEC's call center operates 24/7 and can be reached at 800 TTEC, that's 800-8832, or 800 bulb, that's 800-2852. Become more business-minded. That's the message being sent to persons involved in the creative sector in Trinidad and Tobago. The advice comes from Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Brian Manning, who was speaking during the Power Breakfast program on Thursday. Minister Manning assured the government is taking the creative sector seriously and cited the availability of various financial support that the state provides in this area once the necessary requirements are satisfied. Minister Manning said the government has tried to make things cheaper and easier for those involved in the sector, but notes there are obligations which must be honored.
The reason why a lot of these promotions were lumped into this one organization was so that it would make it easier for everyone to find the resources that are available to our creative sector. Our creative sector has challenges, but one of the major challenges is that I would implore persons within that sector to become more business-minded. In terms of accessing grants and other financial assistance that they can from the state, you have to be able to show certain documents. If you have a registered business, you need to have, to ensure that you've been paying your taxes, due diligence forms, because the government just can't hand you $50 or $50,000 of taxpayers' money without any kind of due diligence or means test or anything like that.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. The Met Service says for the next 24 to 30 hours, rainfall and cloudy conditions will provide a welcome reprieve from the prevailing heat. However, it explains such rainfall events are expected to occur less frequently than usual during the course of this month. It says following this brief relief, a return to hot weather conditions is anticipated. Through the month of October, daily temperatures in Trinidad are projected to reach approximately 34 degrees Celsius or higher, while Tobago is expected to experience temperatures around 33 degrees Celsius and above. The hottest time of the day is between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. It cites urban and built-up areas as having maximum temperatures and expected to be higher than 34 degrees Celsius, and feel-like temperatures will likely range between 34 and 44 degrees Celsius. Elevated temperatures coupled with tropical moisture and light winds are the primary drivers of intense, isolated daytime thunderstorms. Additionally, rainfall events such as what is currently being experienced may still provide brief relief from the intense heat, but hot conditions are likely to return once these events are over. Well, let's see what our weather report is going to be today for the period this morning until tonight. Trinidad and Tobago, partly cloudy and hazy conditions are expected, with few showers occurring. There's also a medium chance of isolated heavy showers or thunderstorms. Some cloudiness will persist overnight, accompanied by occasional showers. Please note that Sahara dust is present in moderate concentrations, so persons who are susceptible to these changes in air quality are being advised to take the necessary precautions. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding may accompany heavy showers or thunderstorms. And remember, there is a second adverse yellow level adverse weather alert that is in effect, and also a yellow level hot spell alert that is in effect. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, the temperature at Piarco is 26 degrees Celsius. It is 28 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, the TTPS says the murder rate has surpassed the figure for the same period last year, and gang killings account for 184 of the 454 murders so far this year. The Coast Guard says the police service continues to probe the death of a sailor on Thursday. TNTech refutes claims of systemic voltage problems. That was news to 7 o'clock. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon today and an update coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, thank you, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right, and welcome to the second hour of the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Thank you so much. Let's get into a traffic update, see what's happening in the highways and the byways. San Fernando, got nothing really to tell you about. Golacona Connector Road, that's a heavy spot this morning. Rivulet Road is not too bad. Solo is pretty much clear until Charlieville. That's slow going through Chase Village, but Charlieville, you've got some traffic there. Chaguanas Main Road, going to Endeavour and going to Idis Gardens, and from there to Curep, you got some traffic. I've got an accident to tell you about. It is westbound Churchill Roosevelt Highway by Page Lights. You've got an accident there. Don't know how serious it is, but we've got an accident there. But traffic is backed up pretty much from Piarco going straight towards UE. All right, Trin City Central Road is also heavy. And of course, from Curep to Port of Spain. All right, Tacarigua, usual spots. Mokoya Road, you got your traffic there. Lower Santa Cruz, Good Lady Young Road, Maraval, very heavy. Even before you get to the pillars, you've got traffic. And Diego Martin still very heavy. All right, so that's a quick traffic update for you. Hope that helped you out in one way or the other. All right, so we got some more votes I will tell you about. Wayne Joseph says yes. Wayne Joseph, you said yes, and then you went back and said no, so you're deleted.
I don't know what happened to Wayne Joseph there in this thing, because he says yes about 5 times and then says no. I don't understand.
So make up your mind. All right. He says yes, he says no. Let's get the results of our poll. Hopefully our guest will come in shortly.
Well, Marcia Rock also said yes, and Beauty Culture said yes. Right? Those are the votes that we're going to take after when we signed off. So we asked this morning, do you think there will finally be a handle on crime and murders in this fiscal year? And it, of course, it would be based on all that was presented thus far in budget 2023-2024. 16 people said no, 9 said yes. 9 is given a thumbs up and a positive approach to what could happen in the next fiscal year. 16 people said no. Esther Adams has added to that no, and we'll end there. All right. Of course, you can vote, continue to vote, even on this app, and all during the weekend. And we'll get your votes on Monday, God willing. All right. Monday will be October what? 9th? Is it? No, 10th?
No, Monday is October 9th. That's my father's birthday.
On October 9th. On Monday, October 9th, we will read the results. All right. So are you hopeful that there'll be a handle on crime and murders in fiscal 2024? Well, this fiscal year. So it started from the day after the budget was read up until the following September 30th. All right. So from October 1st to September 30th, we are dealing with it from the fiscal year perspective as opposed from the calendar year. All right. Because of all the goodies that was promised in the budget, including new vehicles to the TTPS, and boy, do they have new vehicles. I'm seeing new vehicles.
I'm seeing new
vehicles. You see where you see me park up there yesterday, Steve?
Yeah.
Somehow or the other, you get to see all right there.
Oh, you get to see
endless new vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
Endless new vehicles.
And where they're going up and down, I have no idea.
We have no idea. And they have endless new unmarked vehicles too.
I saw those
vehicles are not painted with TTPS.
But you know, police need to crack down on this, huh? I actually saw a vehicle yesterday. Oddly enough, it was a teeter. It's a teeter. And what he has is the blue lights on it. But he doesn't have it stuck onto the glass. He has it on a wire running on his dashboard. It was parked up. And I'm saying to myself, so when he wants to use it, he can just take it, he put it on the dashboard. When he doesn't want it, he just take it off, go to a roadblock. Nobody will know. I see a lot of people doing that.
Now, if it's a cleverly done unmarked police vehicle, I have no problem. In other words,
I have no problem. But in my mind, I'm thinking it's not a marked police.
Yeah.
It's not an unmarked.
They're using a teeter to go into certain areas so they won't be prominent, If that is what they're doing, then fine, You know what I mean?
That's fine, but in my mind, I'm saying it's not.
I know what you're saying, and I don't blame you. Because as I'm telling you, I've been pulled over by an unmarked police vehicle already, but only because I've seen the vehicle on a regular occasion did I stop. You understand? It's not a nice feeling, to be pulled over by an unmarked police vehicle. It's not a nice
Especially
feeling.
nowadays. If an unmarked vehicle is realized that a guy they need to pull him over, what they should do is radio for a marked vehicle. Radio for a marked vehicle. Follow the car, but radio for a marked vehicle to stop the vehicle. Because I don't know, 50-50. It could be some culprits, or it could be a law-abiding citizen. But the way that the country is when it comes to crime, no one is sure.
Yeah.
No one is sure.
Yeah.
But you call 999 to say, listen, I have a car following me here. They're pulling me over. I think it's an unmarked car, but I'm not too sure. But to wait 3 minutes and 20 seconds for 999 to answer the phone, really? Really?
Well,
when you call 999 is not to have an old talk, There's an issue, and they should answer immediately.
I invested, Steve, in a voice-activated dashcam. So I could tell my dashcam what to do. If somebody comes to my left side, I could tell my dashcam swing left or swing right or swing inside the vehicle and film inside the vehicle.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I must send me that link.
I'll show you today. I could come and show you how it works today. It's an amazing thing. And it's an AI camera. And it does its own thing when it's ready. Sometimes it'll just
bought it on Amazon or did you bring it in?
Nah, I got it from a company.
Here?
I every now and then it will tell me, smile, you take a picture.
No, but wait, you bought it at a company here or not here?
Yeah, here. Yeah. I'll link you up with the
link me up. I like that. I mean, I have a dash cam on my car. And boy, if I pull the footage out of that sometimes, it's unbelievable,
Yeah. The camera does what it wants when it's ready. As I say, it'll just swing right or swing, but I can actually tell it what to do.
I like that. And as I was telling you yesterday, the driving, I was driving on Saturday evening and I actually witnessed a maxi taxi breaking the lights by Mount Hope on the Party Bus Road. But the car in front of me, we got green light, but so he pulled off. The maxi broke the red light, slammed into him. No, I didn't even realize that the person in front of me, I did not realize, was my neighbor. So when we came out, he came out to the car and I came out. I said, are you guys all right? And realized, well, wait now. It's you? Oh, shoot. And this individual had his kids in the car and he had his elderly parents in the car as well. It's on Saturday evening while I was traipsing up and down moving the pet butler. I was exhausted. I'm still exhausted. But something needs to be done with the drivers of maxis. Something needs to be done. This need to stop. Is it this stopping on crosswalk thing? Stopping right at intersections, especially in QREP
I actually called Mr. Piggott about that the other day. That issue of stopping on crosswalks, it needs to be addressed. It's done all the time.
Yeah.
And it is so dangerous. Because
But
when you're going around a maxi like that, you have to stop because you have to assume
you don't
somebody going
know.
across.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Well, somebody woke up very early this morning and dolls up for Richard and Wendell. Clearly.
And I don't know if she's deliberately wearing red to provoke me this morning.
Oh, jeez. We're not going there. We're not going
Let's
there.
not go down that road now.
Okay, so good morning to Karen Nunez-Tesheira. I do like your little top with the little matching
Mr.
scarf.
Shera, it was a joke. You're gone. You're getting upset already?
Oh, jeez.
By the way, sorry, Steve. I think I missed. I thought it just said it was 7:35. So just as a matter of caution, I said, let me just check the note.
No, it's 7:15. 7:15.
And my apologies for coming on late. That is what I wanted to say.
No, we are just blaring about how maxis drive on the priority bus route, and they need to really police that properly. They do. Anyway, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine. A little, like everybody, I'm sure it's true for everyone. We all have our stresses, and of course, you know that I am with Hope as a deputy political leader, and they wanted me to draft a response to the minister's budget. So I spent the whole of yesterday, brought me back to the days when I used to write textbooks. So when I had to do research, and so it was difficult, but I made it, and I may be looking better than I feel because I didn't get enough hours of sleep. But I'm so happy to be with you this morning and with your listeners.
Good, thank you. So let me just start off before the guys take over. What does Hope think about the budget presentation?
I'll try and sum it up, which is the theme, which is to increase our capacity to deliver diversification and growth in economy. I think that was the theme, and I would say that it was not reflected in the budget. The major criticisms I would make, and why I would say that is: one, under the energy sector; two, crime, which are two important areas; the lack of implementation, not only of legislative agenda, but actually projects year after year after year, which affects the credibility. What I will say, I was happy to see that the minimum wage was increased because there are many people who are really struggling in this country. And of course, the back pay that was owed to the public servants, that is a good thing. On the downside to that, and I don't want to be seen as being a negative person, because I've been in government where everything you did was never right. They could never see anything you did right. So I want to just say in regard to that, my concern with that is that we already have a high inflation rate for a very stagnant economy, and you don't normally see that kind of inflation rate when the economy is not thriving. You usually see it at the 1%, and yet it is not at that rate. So I am concerned with the increase that I hope people will use our money in a fiscally responsible way to the extent that they can, so that we don't add to the inflationary pressures, which at the end of the day means that prices of things are going to go up and your purchasing power will be affected. But I was happy to see that part. That was the part that I saw.
So each person that's supposed to get back pay should be around what figure? What would that amount be for the individual?
I didn't try to work it out. There's a lot of money though. 1 billion he said to pay by December 2023, and I think, which is a good thing if I understood the minister correctly, that they had settled the negotiation for 4%. So that was also a positive thing. But on the other side, I couldn't help but think, as many people said, also that it read very much like an election budget, as if they were paying for elections next year, as they didn't want to come back to the Parliament in 2025 with no good news. And I could use the energy as a very good example of that, and the lack of implementation and the state of economy, which I do not think, with even the minister, I mean, look at the revenue to expenditure. There's a huge, the expenditure is even greater than the revenue from last year. And we continue to run fiscal deficits, not only this government, previous governments, including a government of which I was a part, but we did reach a surplus of over nearly 12% in 2008, and then the global financial crisis. But I don't want to go and be making I'm making excuses. The fact of the matter is that IMF and World Bank have seen that we've had a negative 20% decline in growth since 2015. And what I found, I didn't, this is something the minister did. I understand the minister wants to say that pigs can fly, right? I understand that. But after time, when you continue to say that and you don't deliver on what you said the year before, the years and the year before, then you put in your credibility at risk, but also your confidence in what you see. And this is something that is something that he does, and it's unfortunate. And, it is what it is. But the reality is that, if I could just say with the negative 20%, they went all the way to Latin American countries, which you didn't mention. I mean, we know those countries have struggled, but why didn't you use the central bank data? The central bank data shows you that in Jamaica, the Eastern Caribbean territories, Barbados, and I'm not including Guyana because I consider Guyana outlier for everybody. So I'm using 3 CARICOM countries, and all of them experienced in the same year, 2020, negative growth, a significant, just like us. One of them was 14.9%. All of us, all these countries, those are the comparisons that you should make. The very next year, I have the figures here, but I mean, time won't allow, but you can look at it. It's in the central bank report, economic bulletin. They recovered in the next year and the next year and the next year. Why can't? And they depend on tourism, which is very much affected by the climate change. This is what you call the SIDS. These are very vulnerable economies, and they don't have energy as we have or supposed to have, and yet they were able to make significant recoveries in terms of their growth. And when you go to the World Bank, they also list the countries in terms of growth and, in terms of order of how these countries have performed in terms of growing. And you have countries like St. Lucia, St. Vincent, all these smaller countries way ahead of us. We are about 133 out of 170. Maybe people don't like to hear facts. I'm not making those things up. It's right there. It's data that you can pull yourself. So, this storyline of and where was the diversity? Anyway, that will go on. But I'm saying when you look at that alone, the growth, the fiscal deficits, and I understand also, because I, again, do not want to be unfair, when people speak about the food and gas, that's an international phenomenon. Nearly every single country has been impacted by the increase in food prices because of the Ukraine, Russia war and other geopolitical development with BRICS and a number of things. So to just single out Trinidad and say how high your food prices are. But what I would say in response to that is that our food bill of over 5 billion, that's the last figure I had, I think it's more now, import bill for food is not acceptable. And what is not also acceptable.
What's that figure? 5 billion, I believe?
5 billion TT, but the central bank governor gave that about maybe 2 years ago, and I suspect it's higher today, but I'm not sure. But that's the figure I had. But what makes me very concerned about that is that what have you done? Really done. I know you said all those wonderful things, which they said, but they don't implement it. I'm sorry, but that is the truth. The data is there to show that they don't implement. They build the hospitals, but you have to go back and tell them about 2020. But back on the food, one of the key problems is the flooding and a lack of planning, because these farmers lose a lot of their local produce because of flooding. But it's happening every year. I mean, countries like the Netherlands, 53% of their country is underwater. They have the Rhine River running through their country. They're the second largest global exporter of food in the world, second only to United States and the size of Maryland. I'm not saying we could be Holland, but my goodness, this thing over and over is not acceptable. And then you're littering this country, and I use the word littering deliberately, this country with a number of foreign franchises, which are using up your foreign exchange, who's benefiting? It's certainly not the workers who work in long hours and minimum wage, which we have increased. Sometimes, going home late at night, but there's a crime situation. Who is benefiting from that? And I can't go in the bank and get not me, but the man in the street cannot go in the bank and get $200 US. And Republic Bank has cut the credit card facility.
50%.
That's one, by 50%. So that's an indicator. The decline in terms of growth, which doesn't come from me, it comes from World Bank and the IMF. Also, the foreign exchange reserves. I mean, up to 2014, I went back and looked. It was 10.1 billion in foreign exchange reserves, and then it kept reducing over the last 3-4 years. I mean, I actually thought I was wrong. I actually thought, nah, Karen, it can't be 6.8 billion. And it didn't reach that far. I actually questioned myself. So I went back to the central bank, to their macroeconomic indicators. And the central bank recently last bulletin said we lost another 400 million US. So what is that saying? It's saying, and we have to have the foreign exchange reserves, because our money is monopoly money to the world. They're not going to take it, not even Barbados or Antigua and meant by that. But they're not going to even want our money. They want to be paid in US dollars. So you have to be concerned when your foreign exchange reserves are reduced, when Republic Bank, and that thing with the I was going Prime Minister, Freudian slip. But the fact that the Minister of Finance did two things tell me how desperate the situation is. I mean, I try to read the tea leaves. And one of the things, as he says, he's taking initiative to deal with the couriers, because what people are doing, understandably, if they can't get the US from the banks, what they do is they order online, and the government has to honor these payments, these US payments. And now you're saying, not only the Republic Bank doing that, but now the minister is saying that he's getting together with groups, and he intends to obviously increase either the custom duties or whatever. Now, if he has to do it, he has to do it. But what it tells you, if you're being dispassionate about it, is that things are really, really bad, that they're trying every which way. I just think that they are in a position where energy is the center of our economy, energy products. And just to say that our Prime Minister in September 2022 did admit that if we don't get more investment in the energy sector, we're in dire circumstances. And what really bothers me, which is why you can't, the credibility issue is there, is because when you look at things like, for example, he said that Manatee, which is on our side, the Lauren Manatee, Lauren is the Venezuelan side, the Manatee is our side. They have 7.2 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. We have 2.7. The deal could not go through, so we're going with Manatee. He said it was coming on stream in 2024. Now we learned just a few weeks ago that Shell has not even gotten the certificate of environmental clearance. And now they're thinking whether or not they want to make a final decision, because they're Shell shareholders. That's Manatee, and which we were promised 2024. Now they're saying 2028, and we're not even sure if it will happen. Then we have the Shell solar panel initiative, which was a good thing, because what happens, I understand under the law, that the electricity takes precedence, and electricity comes from our natural gas. So you have to give the natural gas first to the domestic market. So what they were trying to do is divert a lot of the natural gas to the downstream and LNG, and use the solar energy to provide electricity, so we could have more natural gas for the commercial side. That was told us in 2018. This year, Shell said that they didn't start the project. Why? Because only this year they got their license. I mean, what does that say to you? Be objective. What does that say to you? And then you had the minister, pigs could fly, according to what he said. He spoke as if the Lauren Manatee deal, first of all, that as the Manatee deal was a done deal, which it is not. The Lauren Manatee, now he's talking about that as if it's a done deal. When Lauren is on the Venezuelan side, and it is part of PDVSA, and Biden has made it clear, and forget about the other things that they said about Dragonfield, dealing specifically with the what Biden has said to Maduro, when they put what they call extreme pressure on him, but the military stood by his side, so he realized it didn't work. Biden is insisting on next year, which is elections are due, free and fair elections. Now, I'm not supporting Maduro. I'm not a supporter of Maduro, but I don't believe that I'm not against him. I've taken a neutral position. But I don't see that he's going to allow America to dictate how we conduct an election when they had all that problem in Georgia with the boxes. And he has banned a lady called Maria Machado, who was the most, according to the media, she was seen as the most, the rival, the real challenge, opposition challenge him, and he has banned her from taking part in the elections. So all this thing about Lauren, Manatee, Shell thing, I mean, what am I supposed to think? And I have to say this, with the LNG, you know, the Minister of Energy, I normally don't try to address anything they say because it gives it oxygen and I try to ignore it. But apparently someone sent me maybe a 10-paragraph thing when I said that I believe part of the deal has to do with allowing the Venezuelans to come into this country. Now, I may be wrong. I may be wrong on that. And the reason I said it was not reported was because about 2 years ago, when they were interviewing the person who is, I don't know if you call him a consul general ambassador from Venezuela, he did correlate the migrants coming into here with the Dragonfield deal. And why I have problems with Minister is that I can't believe you, Minister. You went on CNN, an internationally recognized media house, and represented that we had all the trains. When Train 1 had been closed down for over a year, and Shell, it was in the papers, Shell and BP said they wouldn't put any more money into Train 1 because there wasn't enough commercially viable natural gas. Yet you went on an international forum and represented to the international community all was well in the world when you knew that was not true. And just to make the point in favor, in terms of what the Prime Minister being forthright with us, he said the ideal position is if we could get 4.7 billion cubic feet of gas per day. That's the ideal. We've never had it, but he said if we could get that, that would deal with all our needs. He said that at the best point in 2010 it was, we got 4.1 billion. But you know what? And they did during this administration has got in the vicinity of 3.8. But do you know what it is now? It's 2.7 billion. And according to another person who said they saw access to the Ministry of Energy's figures, it's now 2.5 billion. Where's the gas coming from? I'm now. And all these little, Cassia, Calibria, they can't make up for it.
Yeah.
Mr.
Karen,
Tesheira,
Thank you for allowing me to speak so long. I appreciate it very much.
You got up on that soapbox there, and you dealt with
Don't call it
you
a
went
soapbox.
several directions. Go ahead, Wendell.
So
you went all over. So I had to be taking notes sometimes. Mm-hmm. You said that and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm generally, you said that the Minister of Finance used words that pigs could fly. Did he say that?
No. I said, of course, I see, well, it's a good thing. Maybe we need to. I said, if you listen to him, the next thing he can tell you is that pigs can fly. I was being sarcastic.
But he didn't say that, did he?
No, I never said he did. Obviously, just play back the tape now, as I told you last time.
No, we're going to move on because we're going to move on. If you said he didn't say that, no problem.
Yeah, I said, okay, we can move on then. Yeah.
Right. You also, I think, just recently called Stuart Young a stranger to the truth, that he was lying about an issue. The issue with
I would not use the word lying because that's a very strong terminology to use.
He said he did not speak the truth.
Talked about his credibility, and that's.
He said he did not speak the truth, right?
Well, I won't argue that I may have said that, but I doubt that I would because I try to be careful. But what I did say is that the Minister of Energy's credibility, when I have said that maybe part of the Dragonfield, which is just an agreement to agree anyhow, which I hope comes through for the sake of our country, I feel that his credibility has been compromised. And I gave the reason why. And I said why I said that. And that is a fact. That is what, and many people after that in this country criticized him for doing that. And I'm among them.
But and earlier, this is the one that caught me. Earlier, you had said that based on the budget that was presented this time around, that it's preparing for an election in 2024, which clearly goes against the grain of anything Dr. Rowley would have done in the past in terms of calling early elections. He is not known for calling early elections. And you are suggesting that this election will be called a year earlier?
Right. So I cannot say that as a fact. I do have tea leaves. I can't see around the corner. I'm not in the cabinet. But I have been in the cabinet, and I have been a minister of finance, and I can interpret to a certain extent a budget. And I'm not the only one that said that. And that assessment was made independent of me by several persons. So a lot of people saw it that way. Why did I say that? The reason I said that he's preparing for 2024, I don't know. And you're right, he's never called an early election. And I think a lot of people were very upset with Mr. Manning when he had promised not to do that again, and he did it twice. And I'm sure, though I can't say it, but I'm sure among those persons, though I don't know it, that Dr. Rowley may have been among those who was very upset about it. But what I see is that my view is that the energy sector is in a parlor state. I'm using old English language, but it is in a parlor state. And I think also, too, the fact that he made so many concessions on the supplemental petroleum tax, which he knows would lose revenue, which he said, the fact that he's extending it now to the shallow waters and not lead, and the fact that out of the, I think it's 17 deep water bid rounds, only 3 of them, I believe, was taken up. The writing appears on the wall. If I was the Prime Minister and I stood up objectively, not reading a budget, but looking at it objectively and the data, I'm going to be very worried about what's going to happen. So in my assessment was that when we looked at the fiscal measures, it was to a large extent a combination of trying to incentivize in the energy sector by, in fact, giving up revenue in order to get them to do more exploration and so on. And on the other hand, the minimum wage increase, the $1 billion which was paid by the end of 2023, all of which I have not said are bad things. I have never said they are bad things. And the apparent settlement of the 4%, which I also said were not bad things. I looked at all those things and as being an indication that the government does not want to go to another budget, because if they go to another budget, it's going to be more and more, it's clearer and clearer to the public that the government simply cannot deliver, and there is a limit to what they can give when they are depending on borrowing in order to keep them alive. They're not doing.
So you see this as an election budget, per se?
I know. I didn't. I have to be
It's a question. I'm asking a question, Mrs.
I said, when I try to assess it, I would not be surprised. Let me use those words so I will not be misquoted, and I would not be surprised, given my assessment of the budget, the fiscal measures, all what I have said, and even more that I did not see, that I would not be surprised that if I had been in government, and Dr. Rowley is a very astute politician, and nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that.
You call him an excellent leader last time.
As an astute politician, I think that they cannot deliver on the foreign exchange development and giving us streams. Many of the promises they have made over and over and over again, I could list them for you. They have not been kept. They have not been able to keep them. And I believe that they don't want to go to another budget and to have to give now a swan song that people really will not believe. Can I make a comparison? It's like, I think people could relate to this. It's not happened to me, by the way, but I'm just saying. It's like a man promises to marry her. He said, no, we get married next year. When next year come, he said, well, I have to go so and so emergency, so we put it off to next year. When next year come, tell you some other excuse. After 4 or 5 years, you tell it, take back your ring, Take back your ring, because you don't have no intention of getting married to me. I go and change. I had to change. I had to look for somebody else because you're really not serious. And that is how, if I tell to the man in the street, that is how I looked at what, and therefore they do not want to go back to that. And that is my assessment, both as being former member of cabinet, having read budgets and reading this budget. And that is just my assessment.
I'll let Richard jump in here because Richard would have interviewed Brian Manning yesterday, who would have explained in terms of what the budget really is and what is the hope centering. So
Good morning, Mrs. Nunez-Tesheira.
Oh, you don't have to be so formal with me, Richard Raghubar Singh. Can call me Karen.
Karen.
I can call you Richard.
I'm
not so sure about Wendell anymore. Eh?
But you call me Wendell all the time.
Okay, but that's
it. But I was hearing you on about the budget, and you think the possibility exists that he could call the election next year.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether, in fact, it was a preparation budget from a political point of view, for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the major issue that concerns Trinidadians and Tobagonians that I think you can win or lose an election now on is not just the economy. The economy always factors crime.
Mm-hmm.
If the current administration was able to see results on the crimes front in this fiscal year, then I think, yes, that probably opens the window to a win in the next general election. Because a clearer win, let me put it that way, because they will say they will win anyway, but a clearer win, a clearer path to winning, if you can show that you can handle the crime situation, because that is the number one concern for Trinidadians and Tobagonians, wherever you are, even in the diaspora. Do you think that the budget can deliver on that in terms of the measures for national security and the additional of resources in terms of tripling the recruit human resource, and of course you have these riverine units, you have a maritime command center, and to guard the borders, etc. There were several things that were indicated in the budget. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I'll go back to your first statement as to why I understand what you're saying. It's like, and when you speak to I just happen to speak to the what you call the ordinary citizen. You say, but I glad with the budget, I not pay no more on gas. So I think to many people, if you talk to the man in the street, as I don't mean it in any pejorative way. I'm just talking about the ordinary citizen. I think they were actually apprehensive about what the minister was going to do, and the media speculation also helped to feed into that. So that I think that the government, based on all the indicators, which I would say to you, I don't underestimate the economy. And crimes, I'll get to that, but I would just say that if you look at most countries, going French Revolution, anywhere, all over the world in Latin America, many times people are unhappy about things that our government is doing. They're unhappy maybe about corruption, about crime. And usually they are able to bear with it once it doesn't touch them personally. And they could go down, well, let's use for Trinidad, go down Arapita Avenue, drink a beer, go to Tobago for a lime, go and thing. But when they can't afford to go out and eat as they used to with their children on the weekend for pizza, when they can't do those basic things, that is when the anger starts, and that's when they start looking at those issues. And I think the government and the Prime Minister understands that. So that is why I said about not wanting to go to 2025, because I don't know what could possibly have happened in 2025 that would change the trajectory of economy in decline when you are depending on the energy sector, and every indicator is that it's not going to happen next year. And so they would prefer to get in there and then deal with those realities. But I don't think they want to take it. That's my assessment. With regard to crime, there's no getting around it. But as I wrote in my thing with the Hope's response, I was glad to see, and I don't want to use that in the wrong way, as if I'm glad in a way that in a what is this? Schadenfreude, like if you're in perverse pleasure. I was glad to see that Martin Daly called it out. He said, and if you had the curse of cocaine on Newsday, in the jaws of cocaine, and he himself can call it out. He said that the root of the problems in Trinidad and Tobago crime is the cocaine trade, which goes with the gangs, which goes with the guns. And so when I looked at the prescriptions that the minister came with, one, I was very glad to see that they're going to get these scanners. But for how months were they not working? They were not 4 out of 5 were not working for how many months? When were we going to find it out? We found out when they called the acting controller, and she let us know that there are 19 manual bays to check. How many officers are assigned to these manual bays? Only 3 out of 19. When you see that the helicopters, now I don't know if they acquired helicopters, but the last report was when an incident happened, they need a helicopter. The Prime Minister said all 4 helicopters are out of order and it's too expensive to fix them. And when we look at the border, maritime border thing, I am happy to hear that they're going to do more in terms of, monitoring the maritime borders. I'm happy to see that. But a basic thing that they have to do, and which again they have not addressed, is the DPP understaffing. It is only the DPP responsible for criminal prosecution. He doesn't commit the crime, that's a prosecute. And when he has a staff of 57 attorneys, when he should have 134, and has been begging it for years, it's in the papers. He said it to the GSC also. And yet that was not addressed. So that was a matter of great concern to me. And the DPP situation also, when I said, and I was apparently corrected on another show, when I said we don't have the DNA 7, they said, yes, we do. And they laughed like, oh, you don't have your facts. So I took the correction, but then I looked it up. Up to that date of the last that I could find on the media, we have no international accreditation for our DNA center. And the Minister of National Security says they found land somewhere where they're going to put up a DNA and ballistics center 7 times the size of the current forensic center. Well, I'm not going to hold my breath. Best predictor of future behavior is past relevant behavior. So based on that, I'm not going to hold my breath. So the ballistics and the DNA, they've said it's been understaffed. They've said the equipment, as for some years, will not work. So to me, if you're serious, you have to look at the DNA, the ballistics, staffing the DPP with a proper complement of staff, both attorneys and supporting staff. And those things, when you add more police, we've done that already. We did Anaconda, more boots on the ground. What did that happen? What did that achieve? I mean, it's, they say the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What it achieved is that for the man listening to that, the listener, instead of getting 300 new trainees, well, have a job because they have 1,000. So there's 700 new trainees. What? They're getting more vehicles. Somebody getting a contract. I don't know who it is. Cybersecurity. Somebody getting a contract. That's why I had to look at it, because the key things that he should have addressed and the people are concerned about, and Martin Daly said it straight up. I did not hear him at any point in time say that what is fueling the crime in this country and the gangs and all of that is the cocaine trade. And we intend, for example, I would recommend that we should directly partner. I know they do work with Interpol and USA, but direct partnership with the United States and Interpol and all those agencies. We're not even the size of a borough in Queens. And I think if we are willing to have the Privy Council as a sovereign, autonomous nation, as our final court of appeal, what is wrong with allowing the United States to come and clean up this drug problem? And then eventually we will deal with the rest. But I think we have to be serious, and I'm not seeing that. I'm sorry to see.
Well, I mean, I don't know what is. I'm late to the discussion, but time is running out, and I'm wondering whether you would want to take some calls from our listeners, because they always have questions that they want to throw at our guests.
All right, we take a couple of minutes of calls, 222-8255, and toll free at 866-525-1099. Karen, what do you see in the budget? What did you see in the budget when it comes to the grassroots?
But that's what I said.
And I may have missed that. I had to go outside for a second. But is it that canned foods are now taxed?
What's
someone who's canned foods?
Well, I don't know if I heard that, but if it is, I don't know if I didn't. I can't say yes or no, because
that and the gas going up was mischief making, Steve.
Oh, it was okay, because somebody asked me yesterday, I can't recall you.
But when you see this is. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that type of discussion. So I'm answering your question. What I saw in the budget, and forgive me if I take a jaundiced approach to it, but it can't be helped. The property tax was supposed to come in 2016. Now he's saying it coming next year. But how is going to come next year when you have to set up evaluation tribunal? But more importantly, the local government has to be properly established because they are now going to collect the property tax, and any shortfall will be funded by the central government through consolidated fund. How am I going to believe the next year they're going to do?
Mr. Shearer, we are one on that. We are one on that issue of property tax.
We are one, Wendell. We do have a call, folks.
So can I just go on to another one? Procurement legislation.
No, we have a caller on the line. Can you take the call, please? Yeah, thank you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, caller.
That property tax issue is poppycock.
Morning.
New York.
Yes, New York.
For the past years, Ms. Tesheira has been commenting on the budget. I would like her to tell us, the rest of the listening public, what has she ever recommended or whatever has she suggested has ever came to fruition for the past 3 to 4 years I've been hearing her commenting on the budget. I'm fed up hearing this preaching of doom and gloom.
I can answer you for now, and I can answer you for when I was there for only half or two. I've written several articles, one on the TTIFC, telling them what I recommended based on what we were doing and where we had reached. And it was published in the Trinidad Guardian. I wrote an article on cultural tourism. I explained that that's the Mauritius model. I explained all the things we had going for us that would allow the man in the street and everyone to be able to benefit from that as a diversification effort. I also wrote an article on food security and the agro-industry, and saying that we needed to focus not only on feeding ourselves, but on creating high-end, upmarket products from our, I think it's Trinitario cocoa, which only I think Trinidad and Tobago that's what we're known for, with the cocoa and the coffee, and using a sugar as they do in Barbados for the only solely in St. John's, I think is where it is done, for the purpose of the rum industry. We are very sophisticated society. So I have given many diversification prescriptions and suggestions, and they have been published in the newspaper. And in fact, I noted that the Ministry of Tourism became the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. And that happened, I don't know if there's any connection, but my article was cultural tourism. And in regard to what I did in the half a term that I was there, I passed the FIU, the TTRA in its original iteration was passed in the lower house. I dealt with oil prices going down to $23 and had to go back to the Parliament in February when it had dropped from $100 to $20 because of the global financial crisis. I had to deal with the CL financial crisis, and unlike many countries and many institutions, there were absolutely no run on the country, no lines in front of the Republic Bank. I had to deal with the HC credit unit situation, where finally the Prime Minister had to accept that HC was in top. And I played a hand in that. I don't want to go into the detail, but I played a hand in it in making sure, because it is done under my ministry. But I had to convince the Prime Minister that they were insolvent. I had to deal with that. I passed the Financial Institutions Act. That's one of the first things I did, because the governor said to me, he cannot have an insight into the insurance and the legislation is too weak. But if the FIA is passed, all companies now that belong to a holding company, he will be able to have an insight into their figures. I passed the FIA. I passed the property tax. We were ready to send out the bills in May 2010 when the Prime Minister told me stop, because I guess he knew we passed it, we're going to election. That is done in half a year. And if there's any question, as an MP, NACTA poll, Trinidad Guardian, you could go to it. I was rated as the #1 member of parliament in the country, a 98% approval rating, even above Jack Warner, who got 97%. So when I was in government, both as an MP and as a minister, I did those. I did those things. When I am out of government, I have continued not only just to be an armchair critic, but I have provided my suggestions, which have been published in the newspaper, as to some of the things that the government can do.
You know that's the first time I ever hear anybody say they were a better MP than Jack Warner. I've never heard that.
I did not say that. NACTA said that.
Okay.
No, you see, this is the problem, Wendell.
You're taking things too personally.
All right.
You're taking things too literally.
I want to clarify it. The Trinidad Guardian on a NACTA poll
Karen Nunez-Tesheira is better than Jack Warner.
A whopping, that's the word they use, a whopping 98% approval.
Over Jack Warner.
Beating out Jack Warner with a 97%. I didn't make it up.
That's amazing.
Karen.
That's amazing.
Karen, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now you can go get some rest again.
Headlines tomorrow. Karen Nunez-Tesheira is better than Jack, was a better MP than Jack Warner. That's the headlines tomorrow.
No, headlines is NACTA poll says that.
Oh, Karen, Wendell is just rubbing you, don't?
You know you all have a relationship there.
But what I don't do, what I won't allow is that when he says that, not to respond in a manner that next thing when you're carrying your news, whatever.
You really think we carry that news, Mr. Sheriff?
I don't know.
Karen, we got to run because Evie is giving me
have a good day. Bye-bye, Rod. Richard.
All the best to you, Karen. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show.
Not a problem. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Are we leaving now also?
Of course, that.
Actually, nice and red. The red look nice on her.
Huh?
The red look real nice on you, though.
Thank you. Thank you. It's not really ready, it's kind of like maroon, but that's okay. I don't mind.
Very windy by you
He's
too.
trying to say you're red and ready. That's what he's trying to say. You're red and ready.
That's where he was going. All right, gentlemen, we got to go. Evie is giving me the look. Rich, you have 30 seconds.
All right, so this weekend, you know what's happening. Nikki Crosby, 50-ish, and Hot AF at Cipriani College, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday 8:30, Sunday 6:30. Check RSRI Productions theater page for all of the outlets. And you can get tickets at the Cipriani College box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. Naparima Bowl. We are launching our new play, Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior at Naparima Bowl. The Naparima Bowl box office is also open from 12 noon to 6 p.m. And of course, you can get tickets at K Squared, Gulf City, and C3 Center, as well as Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout, which ran out of some tickets and were replenished yesterday. Because they were sold out. And of course, Creme Fresh at Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, which is selling tickets for both shows. Get your tickets. It's going to be a fun weekend. If you're in North Trinidad, you have a great show to go to, trust me. And if you're in South Trinidad, you have a great show to go to. Speak to you bright and early on Monday morning. Have a great weekend, people, and smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, folks, have a wonderful weekend. Be careful on the roads. Look out for the young ones. And remember to let go and let God.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll come back to you after 8 o'clock. Let's get into our news brief. Evie is in. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but my news insert did not start. So I'm going to redo it again. Let's see if it works this time.
This is your news bulletin from